Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Maya.
I'm Dustin. Welcome to our home in Los Angeles.
Come on in. We'll show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I am Maya Brenner, and I am a jewelry designer.
I'm Dustin Lancaster, and I'm a restaurateur and hotelier.
And welcome to our home in Silver Lake, California. We had only been living together for about a year, and we were renting in the Los Feliz area. And our house was actually robbed, and it was such a terrible, invasive feeling. We were already looking for a place to buy, but that really sped up the process in terms of what we wanted to find and move to.
We looked at dozens and dozens of places all over the east side. We knew we wanted to sort of be in the Silver Lake, Los Feliz neighborhood, and we looked and looked and looked, and then our broker called us one day and said, there's this house that has been in escrow for several months and it just fell out today. Do you want it? And we raced over here and we walked down the driveway, and we didn't even come to the house. We walked outside and kind of went down to the pool area. And as soon as it was like the space, the exterior space and everything. And then when we came inside, we did a quick tour. It was very 80s, kind of pretty bad.
A lot of work.
Pretty bad inside.
But you were the one who, because
I was like, I can do this.
Redone so many, restaurants and bars. He's
That's what I do.
I can do this.
So I was like, this is it. I think we were pretty quick. We walked out and we called the broker and we said, make an offer now. I think we were the very first people to make an offer right after it fell out of escrow. And we wrote a letter.
Yeah, I had 2 kids at the time who were 5 and 8. I had gone through a divorce. I had moved them a few times because we were renting each time, and we kept having to move. And so for me, I just felt like I wanted a place to call home. We were blending our lives, and this was going to be a big step for us. And I think I just poured all of that emotion into the letter, and it worked.
We got it.
I was married before, I was going through divorce. I was a 42-year-old single mom and didn't know what that meant in Los Angeles for the dating pool. And I went out to dinner with a good friend of mine, Claire Vivier, who's a handbag designer, and we had done a sample sale together. This was 12 years ago. And we went to dinner at Dustin's restaurant, and he came over. He knew Claire.
At L&E Oyster Bar in Silver Lake.
Yep. He had been a bartender before in the neighborhood and had known Claire for years. And he came over and we said hello. And we remembered that we had had a conversation 2 years prior that we both remembered.
At another one of my places, another one of my bars.
Yeah, and there was definite sparks. And so I went back in a few weeks later and we had another conversation, and it was just an instant connection. We couldn't really fight it, even though on paper we didn't make any sense. I was 42, he was 32. I had 2 young kids. He didn't have kids. His schedule was very, late at night, bar, restaurant hours. I got up early with my kids for school. Everyone kind of thought we were crazy. He was supposed to be my rebound, after my divorce. But we both kind of say it was the closest thing to love at first sight that we've ever experienced. Welcome to the main living area of our home. We don't have a formal entryway. You just kind of walk in the door and bam.
Hits you right off the bat.
You're here. But we kind of call this the
sitting room, living room.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of our eclectic mix of stuff. This couch I have had for, probably 15 years. It survived 3 kids. This fabric is actually Sunbrella fabric, which I thought was really smart when I first had it made, and it has withstood the test of time. I've redone these cushions with this kind of denim. I kind of liked that boho vibe, and then I added some fun, more colorful cushions to break it up. These are from a really nice design house in LA called Decor.
These we picked up in Palm Springs. We were on a little getaway and we went into a vintage shop and we just loved these. That artwork is the very first piece of art we bought together, I think, right? We were, for this home at least.
Yeah, we were downtown at a really unique store and we both were immediately drawn to it. The scale, the color, we loved it. It was like our first investment piece together.
Yeah. If you follow me this way, I'll show you to my specialty, the bar area. We went and picked out a really, really beautiful piece of marble, and Maya was really drawn to the sort of this pinkish hue with these purple veins. And when we tried to get a paint, we went through about 3 or 4 paint swatches to get the right paint. And you know, it's just when you're hosting and entertaining, you got to have a nice bar set up where people, you know, can make themselves at home and pour themselves a drink. And then as you go up, you just see the things from our travels, from Portugal. Maya, I don't even know where you got these seashells, but there's Jack when he was a baby, and a lot of our book collection, and Sadie up there. Yeah, this takes you on a little tour and inventory of our life here.
So I'm going to jump in here because we love to host people. Dustin is a wine expert, so he's got a lot of special bottles that he keeps
vintage
in here. I don't touch them without asking him because I sometimes, if like a friend comes over, I would pull out like a really special one.
Yeah, like if you like open some of like these 1970, let's see.
Oh, did you get me a bottle?
Yeah, that was a birthday year bottle, 1968. This is a 1980 is my birth year, BV. These are some really quite pricey wines, so you can't just jump in here and go at them. But cocktail wise, Maya is a big Aperol Spritz fan. We do that a lot.
Yeah, I love a vodka martini. East Side is my favorite, so sometimes we'll have that set up. And if you don't know what an East Side martini is, it is vodka, lime, cucumber, mint, and a little splash of simple syrup.
She has to tell the servers at the restaurant that a lot. She's like, they can make it, I'm sure. It's my favorite.
It's so good. Look it up. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like what this used to be, this was a really, really weird setup. So the door to the bathroom that I'm about to show you was actually here.
Not here.
Not there, here. And so this was just like a little step into the bathroom. And so you walked through the door here.
It was a shower.
And I'm going to take you into the bathroom to show you. So you walked in this way, and this corner was actually a plastic shower. This was where the shampoo went. You can see that. So we completely redid this bathroom. I love this wallpaper. It just feels like it's a vibe as soon as you walk in. It reminds me almost like Beverly Hills Hotel-ish, like you're on vacation. I love shells. So everywhere we go, we collect all kinds of shells. I've thrown some crystals in here, but shells is something I've done with like all of my kids on beach vacations, and it's really a nice thing to bring back for memories. A lot of this is all original, but we updated the sink and the toilet, and you know, this is just fun also. Little eclectic pieces that I love. I thought the black toilet was a nice piece to kind of make it disappear a little bit in the room. And then the floors were originally the same wood as the rest of the house. But again, we just kind of wanted an instant vibe when you walked into this guest bathroom. And so we painted the floors in here. But yeah, people love this bathroom, and it's just kind of like a fun take on, because this room is so light and then this room is kind of like dark and vibey, which I love.
We have a 7-year-old, so when you have kids, you have to have toys, and instead of having your toys strewn about your entire space, we actually bought this Amsterdam Modern. This is a I believe it's a Danish gym, almost like a pommel horse piece. And so this is where Otis, we keep all the toys and art projects and games. There's a Claire Vivier bag. Books, just so that, they're out of sight, but he can easily access them. Super fun, easy trick for hiding your kids' toys and not keeping them in the middle of your space. This is actually a little piece of history from a hotel I did several years ago in the Arts District in downtown. This chair was designed by Sally Breer, who is an Architectural Digest 100, 8100 designer. She's super, super talented. I've worked with her on 2 hotels and a French bistro I have in Chinatown called Oriel. She's a really, really talented designer. And this wallpaper is leftover wallpaper. If you get in there, it's a duck, sort of this like very vintage duck hunting vibe. We had extra from this hotel that I did, and so I brought it, and this column had to stay. Even when we were opening the kitchen here, the contractor said, you can't take this out. And so instead of it just being a boring white column, we wrapped it with vintage wallpaper to just give it a sort of a funky, fun,
Yeah, I love this wallpaper. So if you can imagine, the wall extended all the way out here. Mm-hmm. So the kitchen wall went to here, and then
it kept going.
Yeah, and then it also came. There was like an island that came from here all the way to here. That was wood and very old and just not very practical.
Yeah, it was part of that 80s, very 80s tile, backsplash, old.
Yeah. We did the most work.
Yeah, we
gutted the kitchen.
Yeah, none of this was here.
Took it all out. And we basically worked with IKEA to design all of the internal
guts
parts. They're so good at, the drawers and that light up, and they're just really, really smart about kitchens. But we didn't love the fronts of the cabinets.
So there was a company.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot now. Back then, when we were doing this house, 10 years ago, there wasn't as many. This color is actually not the original color. The original color was like a light blue, and we liked it for a while. But I don't know, after like 5 to 7 years.
You want to change.
Yeah, we wanted to go darker, and we immediately agreed on this color.
Yeah, we really, really wanted an open kitchen, an open floor plan, a big island that people gather around. I mean, we spend so much time hanging out in here with the kids and with friends. It seems to be the place that everyone congregates, in a lot of houses. But
these shelves we originally had. I loved the idea of having some open shelving. These are from
Room and Board,
and I loved the dark wood. Originally, it was on a plaster wall, and we lived like that for a long time, but it was always my dream to tile this kitchen. And I dreamed and I dreamed and I dreamed, and finally, we just did this like 6 months ago. I loved this tile from clay. It looks like sequins to me almost, the color and the shimmer, and also the fact that they're so small. These are the 2 by 2 inch, and the way that they install it is without grout. It's like a very Moroccan, old vintage, European farmhouse kind of vibe. And this, I love it. I love the way it turned out. We had one guy in the kitchen working for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Almost 3 weeks.
It's a very slow process, but worth it. I love the way it turned out. I think it just elevates the entire kitchen. It's like the first thing you see when you walk in. different times of day, the light hits it, and it's
almost iridescent.
Yeah, I call it like jewelry for the wall, which is, perfect for me because that's my thing. But yeah, it really changed the whole feel of the kitchen for me. Again, I love to like add a little boho. My friend had a moving sale.
Yeah.
I just like ran over there and like bought all of her rugs because I just feel like a rug adds so much to a space, especially one like this, which is really bright and colorful. It just makes like this space pop. You can tell right away that it's, there's something more going on than just, a regular kitchen. Again, like the boho, colorful, whimsical, kind of fun vibe that I want my house to have. I just feel like this is perfect for it. And normally I wouldn't put, such a nice rug in the kitchen, but because it was used and it was a good price, I feel like it works.
And now if you want to follow us, we'll take you over here to the dining room. As soon as we got inside the house, the kitchen was closed off. There was 2 decks. There was no light coming in the front. There was like an old kind of bookshelf library. It just felt lots of bad tile from the 80s, bathrooms, blue tile, old showers. Everything was just a little dark and drab, and yeah, it definitely had not had an update in at least 30.
Yeah, the floors in our bedroom, when you walked through, they were cushiony. It was like the foundation didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was almost like trampoline. But the light, the ceilings, the skylights, everything, even with all of sort of the bad design, everything just felt really good. The energy of the house.
The bones and the soul of it were there. But there was a problem in that we had 2 kids, and this was actually a 2-bedroom house, and then they had a rumpus room downstairs, which was literally permitted as a rumpus room. And it was not attached. So you had to go around the house and walk downstairs to enter a separate doorway. So we knew in order to give our oldest son a room, we had to include it. So that was actually the most construction we had to do, was turn a porch into a stairwell that was interior that would connect his room to the actual house.
So the home is very eclectic. I think that comes from both of us. I'm from Berkeley, California. He's from Oklahoma. We have different upbringings, different kind of styles, but it comes together in a really beautiful mix of high, low, country, hippie.
Yeah.
We both love vintage. We both love really unique finds. Every time we travel, we bring something home, a piece of art, a vase.
We're both very high-low, right? So there's like very nice designer furniture and pieces and artwork, but then it's also, this is kind of a ranch house style architecture. And so there is a bit of almost a Southwestern vibe and flair to it. So yeah, we definitely sort of melded several designs.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Oklahoma. I moved out here in the late 90s to go to art school at Cal Arts. Graduated, moved to Los Feliz immediately, loved the east side of LA. I started working at a really cool French restaurant called Cafe Stella. It's been here for 30 years. And didn't really want to be in the restaurant industry, didn't know much about it, but I started bartending there and worked my way up to bar manager and learned how to do a sort of ordering and inventory and all of this stuff. And I thought after a few years there, wow, I think I could maybe do this. So I actually took a UCLA extension class in developing a business plan, and I came out of it and I went to 2 of my buddies and I said, I think we should open this bar. And we opened up Covell 15 years ago, and it was kind of an instant hit. And so then we opened up L&E and Hermosillo, and then I just kind of would open like 1 or 2 a year for the last decade. And so now I'm about to open my 13th or 14th here in a couple weeks. And I've been very fortunate to have places that people have really responded to over the years, and I love what I do, and I think I'm fortunately pretty good at it, and so we've had a lot of fun doing these, and it's great time. What about you?
My story is windy too. It's funny that both of us came into our careers from different ones. I always loved jewelry. Like from the time I was a little girl, I would like take apart my mom's turquoise hippie jewelry, but I always thought it was a hobby and not a career. So I moved to New York City. I went to graduate school for social work. I had, a very serious job. And at night, I would make necklaces to calm my nerves from like the stress of the pressure of this job. And I started getting stopped on the street, like, oh, who made your necklace? And, I'd be like very shy and embarrassed, like, oh, I did. And a store actually asked me to make some jewelry for them, and I did. And then another store, and I still had my full-time job, but I was doing both. And then I just decided that I really, really loved jewelry more than the career that I had chosen. And fortunately or unfortunately, as a social worker in the 90s in New York City, I wasn't making that much money. So in terms of how many necklaces I had to sell to make up for my social work salary, it wasn't that much. And I got a small loan from my grandmother of $3,000, and I quit my job. And the rest is her story.
So here we are in our dining room, which is, again, just off the kitchen, which makes it super easy for hosting, getting plates and stuff out. This used to have track lighting, with the cans. And so we got rid of those, and I found a very sort of modern European fixture that online that I really loved, and I sort of just got a nice kind of pop of color there.
I love this color. It's so unique. It's like a rust brown, but just kind of blends. I didn't want something that like took over the space because it's not a huge space. So this table I've had for a long time. I brought this into the relationship. I love that it's like the size and heavy industrial.
It takes like 3 or 4 guys to move it because this is solid concrete. This is solid steel, and then this is solid concrete.
Yeah, it's kind of different than normally like what I would be drawn to, but I softened it with these really cool like cane chairs that are both light in color and also like light in design that I love. They're really comfortable, which was important to me. And then I threw in this other style just also kind of for fun, just to make them so that it wasn't like too matchy. And we spend a lot of time at this table, obviously. Yeah. And again, this table is very sort of industrial and heavy, but I love adding some color and feminine touches. I'm very into crystals, just, being from Berkeley, it's in my blood. And so this is also just like a fun thing for our son. He loves to look at them and touch them and play with them. These are my favorite candles from Flamingo Estates. It smells like heirloom tomato. I burn these all the time. This is another example of just like a fun thing that I saw on vacation and I just loved. I'm just like drawn to the iridescent and the rainbow. If you come over here, this is actually a print from my grandfather. His name was Art Brenner, and he was a sculptor in Paris. It is a print of like a replica of an outdoor sculpture that he made. So if you look at the scale and the size of this is a person, and then this is the sculpture, and this is a close-up of one of the panels. And it's really special to me. He lived in Paris my whole life. I wasn't that close with him, but I feel a connection just in terms of like an artist, designer. I feel like maybe some of that was passed on to me. But there's a number of pieces of his throughout the house that I'll point out. I'm a big like Etsy shopper, and I love things that feel old school or vintage or handmade. And so I found this, Turned Down for What, which I just thought was so funny because it's like a rap song, but on like an old embroider piece. And I like things like that just again are just kind of different, whimsical, fun pieces that you wouldn't expect, like the unexpected. So when we have people over, we usually sort of hang out in here initially.
Spread on
We'll
both
always
sides.
have cheese. I love cheese. You gotta have cheese. So like cheese and charcuterie, olives, little nibbles, some drinks.
Lots of wine throughout over here on the bar.
Yeah. I'm not the best cook. I can make, some simple things. So usually we'll either bring in something from one of Dustin's restaurants or we'll order in. And that way it's not so stressful. You have time to actually like hang out with your guests and not, have to worry about it too much.
We love a good champagne and caviar New Year's.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of a tradition. We have a lot of people over, do lots of caviar and champagne.
Yeah, special occasions.
I want to show you one other feature that we added to the house. This was just a bookshelf, and we really love the indoor-outdoor flow. And so we installed these sliding doors on both sides so that you can open these up really easy, and it really makes it feel so nice and warm and inviting to do this here. And it's like, Southern California, we are, and it's kind of like this year round. And you get this beautiful indoor-outdoor, and you can do it on both sides. And it really is just the most comfortable, flow you can imagine.
So we're gonna come into more of like the family TV room. We also do spend a lot of time in here. We have the Togo sofa, which low to the ground, easy for the little kids. Not so easy for our moms to get up and
it's very low.
from. The pillows are Sarah Sherman Samuel. I love her like fun fabrics. She actually redesigned my office downtown before I moved, and I was really sad to have to leave that space during COVID because I love her style and styling. This is a chair I've had for a long time. This was vintage, and then I recovered it with this Christian Dior like embroidered fabric that I love. I love embroidery. I love things that have texture and color. This is our pizza table. It's really, really special because obviously it's called pizza because
Everyone pulls it to them, yeah.
Move them around, but I love this piece, and this is like one of the pieces that when people come over, they're really interested in. And it's just like, again, withstood a lot of kids and a lot of eating and popcorn and stuff out here.
The artwork, that was a gift. You bought me this Slim Aarons, very, very famous Slim Aarons photo. It was one of my favorite photographers for a birthday or Christmas, I can't remember, many years ago. And this one we loved. We bought this together in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's so hard to see the detail. You'd have to zoom in so much, but we love this sort of massive print for such a small detail of a cowboy riding a bucking bronco there, but it's a really, really cool piece. Maya knows I had wanted this chandelier. I had been trying to get this chandelier for years, and it's a really, really kind of famous Italian designer from the 60s. And I finally got it last year, earlier this year. And it's a super fun super fun piece, really. I think helps tie the room together.
Because again, there was track lighting.
Yeah, there's track lighting in here
You really
previously.
didn't like.
Not my style, not my thing. I actually am quite a big fan of pink. I had an office that was pink many years ago, but we definitely wanted to, I don't know, give it a little bit of a pop, true accent wall. So we went with just a very, 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 very light pink. And you can only sort of see the difference when you look in the corner, because when you're staring at it straight on, it kind of just almost blends
you
in.
almost don't.
Yeah, but when you
don't
see it in the corners where it changes from the white.
And then if you move up here, you can see we also did some wallpaper up here. Again, it was just a white area that we also felt could use just like a fun pop of something. We didn't want it to be too much, and so we found this wallpaper and just loved it. And we feel like it just gives like the right amount of pop. This is a scarf that I found, and I don't really like wear scarves like this, but I thought how beautiful it was. I don't know, I was drawn to it for some reason, and I never would have worn it as a scarf, but I love the idea of framing it and having it be like a bold piece in the room. And again, I love the colors. I love that it looks vintage. It isn't necessarily. And then this is my favorite picture of our family, the kids and us. And I mean, Otis just looks so cute, standing there. He kind of just like brought all of us together. He's just such a joy.
And over here on the other wall, we have the fireplace and the TV. This was brick. This was a brick color that we just kind of felt was a little boring. So as original mantle and brick, we painted this white first.
Yeah, we did.
And it was all white. And then that lived like that for a few years. And then we went with this, it's actually called soot, ironically, S-O-O-T. And we really think that it's just a kind of a fun thing. And then it really gets a nice pop with this brass. I'm not sure, I've had this, people love this, they talk about it all the time. I've had it for years, and I'm not sure its origin except that it is vintage. But it's very, very cool, sort of peacocky Asian motif. And here's another one of your grandfather's pieces.
He actually died, and a lot of his estate was sort of spread out. So I have actually gone online and tried to find some of his pieces. And so I bought this on eBay. All of the crystals are mine. I'm just very much drawn to them. The stained glass was a gift from Dustin one Christmas. Again, I love handmade things that feel special. I think we bought these.
Also in Santa Fe.
Yeah, in Santa Fe. Again, Dustin and I are just very much drawn to the same art pieces. It's kind of wild that our tastes are so similar.
Crystals over here. More
crystals. I love this piece. This is taken by a friend who we went to school with, and he is an underwater photographer, and so he took pictures of all the kids in Jack's class, and I got this one blown up and framed, and it's super special to me. We've got a record player, which is fun. More shells, always collecting shells. And then if you come over here, I have sort of the biggest crystals that I own, all together. And again, these are just pieces that I'm drawn to. This was a gift from Dustin one Christmas, and that kind of started the whole collection. And the kids know, to be careful with them, mama's crystals. So I would say that my approach to decorating is very similar to my approach to designing jewelry. I want everything to be approachable. When I design jewelry, I want there to be a versatility, a comfortability, The design that I'm most known for is our asymmetrical letter necklace. It's personalized, and it starts with a position on the side of your neck that's asymmetrical and kind of unexpected and whimsical and different. And I think that's also what I'm looking for when I'm designing my home. I want things to feel unique, personal, something that is versatile and wearable, approachable. I don't want anything to feel too fancy, that you can't touch it, that you can't use it. And, you know, again, like we have kids, we cannot have a home that you cannot get messy in. And the jewelry that I design is the same. It's meant to be always worn, never taken off, to live in. And I think that this house is also very livable.
Very similar to our dining room, we have some more indoor-outdoor flow. So we will give you a shot of our outdoor porch. You can really feel the light and airy vibes out here. We're sort of elevated, perched in the Silver Lake Hills. Our oldest daughter comes out here every morning and has breakfast right here, sort of overlooking the pool and our beautiful yard. We have a chicken coop down here, basketball court, trampoline. And as we said earlier, this was the very first thing. We walked down steps over there, and this was what hooked us on this house. We immediately were taken in as soon as we saw this outdoor area. And if you want, we can take a trip downstairs. This used to be stucco, and about 4 years ago, we fell in love with an idea we had seen online with this redwood clad siding. And so we hired a team to wrap our entire house with this redwood. And I mean, it really changed the entire feel of the outside exterior of the house. And especially when this is the original natural sort of rock, and these two play together so nice. And you can, you know, if you get a shot up there of the patio, I mean, it really is such a warm vibe of the whole house. So much greenery. Maya hired a really great team of landscapers who came in and sort of reworked. There was a lot to begin with, but now we have an actual Shangri-La here.
There's a lot of hardscaping, and I wanted to break up a lot of the brick with green, and we worked together to just do a really California natural vibe that would just blend, not too fancy, no flowers or roses or anything like that, but just real natural greenery to be out here. This is interesting because there was a lot of bamboo in
sort
the
of
backyard.
Like how that's back there.
And this entire area was a huge thing of bamboo that we wanted taken out. And as soon as we lifted it, there was a
hole. There's a pit.
Gaping hole. And we had an above ground trampoline at our rental house. And we kind of looked at each other and thought, let's do an indoor trampoline. We had seen this somewhere
this
before.
Is a hit. The in-ground trampoline is quite a hit.
Again, you can see why now all of Otis's friends want to come over here.
And behind you we have a chicken coop. We have 2 chickens. We had some food, but this is nice. We get eggs. We have more eggs. We never buy eggs. They each lay one about a day, one every other day. So plenty of chickens. There's 2 chickens. This one's Cookie because Otis's favorite cookie is an Oreo cookie, and this kind of looks like an Oreo. And then there's a red chicken in there named Basket. Again, when you let 4-year-olds, I think he was 4 at the time we got him, name chickens, those are the names you get.
Over here, we have this woven hammock. This is Heather Taylor for West Elm. She's a friend of mine. I love supporting friends and collaborations. And I love that it looks like, you know, you could be on like vacation in Tulum. I love crochet items like this. I don't get to sit here very often because of work and kids, but someday. I really wanted a fountain.
Water piece, a water feature.
Yeah.
This is from Restoration Hardware. But just that sound it helps sort of give you some tranquil vibes. And probably the biggest highlight or the most used part of our outdoor area would be our pool. The pool was actually here. So when we came down these steps and saw us, we were like, wow, that's a big pool. It was also, I think it was built in the 60s. It was all the original coping and inside. So we actually did drain it, and we added a hot tub and new steps and shelving and a Baja shelf to make it just a lot more, current.
The color was really important to us too. We took a lot of time trying to find this like Bermuda lagoon. Yeah. We wanted it to be dark. Obviously the original one was
white,
very light,
like
plaster.
White plaster.
And we wanted to like deepen the color.
And so we actually had a pool guy say that we could go visit one of his past clients to see this color that we liked. As we drove to their house, they were luckily in Silver Lake, and we drove over to their house and we're like, hey, thanks for letting us take a look at your pool.
Can we see your pool
we took a look at their pool and we were like, that's it, that's the color we want. And so we dove in. Here's a story that we have not been able to confirm or deny, but was told to us by the broker when we bought this house, that you never see pools this big. And this was here, this sort of built-in seating area and kind of picnic area. And so this is all original brick in here. And while we're going back in history, we were also told that our house was the first document on record with LA is that it was a hunting lodge in 1910, when all of these hills were just hills and no homes, and this was the very first hunting lodge over here in Silver Lake that they would use to hunt deer.
I would say for decorating, we both have such a hand in it. Fortunately, we really agree on almost everything. Wow. I can't really think of something that we fought about doing this house. He has really, really good taste for a man. I always joke that, like, a lot of times when you move in with a guy, he brings like his, black lacquer TV stand. And Dustin had some like really, really great pieces as like a young single guy, which was so surprising.
Yeah, we both love like wallpaper and, these are like reupholstered block shop textile, vintage chairs, vintage.
We love like European feel, paint colors. We love Faro and Ball. We love vintage mixed with some sleek stuff.
It's a collaboration, for sure.
For sure.
There's no one person that makes the executive decision.
Like we said earlier, when we moved in, it was a 2-bedroom, and we had 2 kids and us. So we had to, create the bedroom for my older son, and then since then, we've also had another child.
Otis was born 7 years ago.
Yeah, so we had to build another room, and so it's really just a lovely place to live.
Grow with us and expand. And we have a guest house on the other side of the property for when the grandmas visit or other people in town. And it's we host a lot of parties with, we have a ton of pool parties in the summer. It's got a little, bar and barbecue setup down there. And so it's a good indoor,
like a
outdoor flow. And now we're going to take you into the guest house. So this was just a shed, like literally just a shed. And we turned it into this.
It had no windows, no bathroom. It was cut off here, so it was just a square. And I can't believe we actually had people sleep out here.
Before it was this?
In a windowless bathroom.
Yeah, I think they used it as a tool shed, and we turned it into a guest house. So yeah, as you said, it was a rectangle with no light, no windows, maybe one little thing. And we had a crew come in and pitch the roof, add this extension, create this tiny little nook you have here. Again, always we love the wallpaper, vintage sconces. We got it. Is it a place called L7?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Melrose.
The couch. What's it?
Chesterfield. Chesterfield sofa. We bought it on Craigslist.
Yeah. Yep.
This is again Block Shop Textiles. We love their work.
Have to have the massage
chair.
Massage chair. It is.
It's a hit. People love. We've had parties before, and we'll lose a guest for a little while. We'll come in here and find them sitting in the massage chair
it's a good
for the last 30 minutes. This is actually Rejuvenation, but Rejuvenation has a vintage collection, and this was partly, so there's just one-off vintage collection, and this was, I don't know, we felt kind of like spaceship orbital, and we loved it for sort of this pine wood ceiling.
And this was an interesting choice for us. We wouldn't normally carpet, like wall-to-wall carpet, but we wanted the room to feel
a little
warm, almost like a hotel room studio. And we loved this color. And again, we used the same window person as inside for some of the other details. Again, we wanted it to feel a little special, European.
And then lastly, we have the bathroom that we fully installed, restoration hardware, sink vanity, and then we tiled and a little custom tile job with the chevron pattern.
And that's it for the guest house. You're welcome to come stay anytime.
And now I'll let Maya show you the bedroom.
All right, now I'm going to show you our primary bedroom. We didn't do too much work to this space. We added the wood siding and painted it white just to kind of break up some of the wall space. This is a vintage bench that I had recovered in silk stripe. It's kind of been in every different room in our house, including this one. This is a collection of just everything that kind of represents me. The color, the shells, the crystals, each of these pieces collected either on vacation or, picked up somewhere special. My mom actually made this from driftwood. She is super creative and loves to craft. The watercolors are my best friend from 6th grade. Her sister made those and I loved them. The stitching is from a friend of mine who makes these really clever vintage feeling things, but with really amazing modern day sayings. And I loved that piece. So our bed, the linens are a mix of Parachute, Home, and Moro soft goods. The room tends to be a little dark, so I love using light linens. Dustin and I share a closet, and that transition, we couldn't really have a door here just because of where it's set up. But we didn't want it wide open, so we found these like saloon doors on Etsy, which I thought were kind of fun. So follow me into the closet. So originally the closet ended here, and obviously this was not enough space for a fashionista like myself. So we had a little extra space behind the house, so we actually built this room, and I had California Closets come in and we designed it together. So shoes, I love denim, obviously, bags, hats. My grandmother used to say that I loved anything that started with an A dress, a hat, a bag, and she was right. just like with jewels, I love a little sparkle. So I love a sequin dress. I just wore this to the Sphere in Vegas. It was super fun and amazing. And I don't really wear a lot of heels or fancy shoes, but I do have these Gucci gold shoes, and I feel like they're just the perfect shoe for me. They're not too high, they're comfortable, and gold, of course, for me. Who doesn't love gold? So coming from the closet, I'm going to take you right into our primary bathroom. We completely redid this and gutted it, added the shower. The tub is from Signature Hardware. The vanity is custom. We did the tile not in any kind of pattern. We wanted it to feel random, which it is. And then this area over here is my jewelry. I kind of have jewelry everywhere, all over. So obviously I'm a jewelry designer. I have a lot of jewelry. I keep a lot at my office, but this is my collection that I personally sort of rotate each day. This is a great organizer we sell on our website. Bracelets, rings, necklaces. I have a few necks for display. These are travel cases. I always travel with these, and so I keep some jewels in there and little trinkets and trays. And each thing is just, again, like kind of a special piece that I've picked up here and there. The most special pieces to me right now are my crystal collaboration. This is called the Retreat necklace, and I designed this with a good friend, Abigail Spencer, and we're both really into crystals. And they come in different colors, and then each crystal has a different property that is meaningful or has like a connection to the person wearing it. And I just feel such a connection to it. This one's called Inflow, and I've been wearing this one a lot, and I use it as kind of like a touchstone throughout the day to just remind me to breathe and calm. She came up with a really fun tagline that says, a crystal necklace, so every day can be your retreat, and then we call it a piece to protect your peace. Okay, and now, last but not least, my very favorite room in the entire house. I call it my sanctuary. And this room initially did not exist in the house. If you were standing here, you would have been outside in the front of our house. But when Otis was born, we didn't have a bedroom for him. So this was initially built as a nursery. It was the perfect size for him, crib, changing table, but obviously it was off of our bedroom, so not ideal once he started getting older. So when our oldest son went to college, we kind of rotated everybody's rooms. And then this was kind of like a home office / hangout room, but didn't really have any special aspects to it. And so I came up with this idea to cover the entire room with fabric after seeing this at a boutique in Paris. And I just fell in love with it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I set about trying to find somebody who could help me bring this vision to life. And I found Joanna Williams in LA. She has a store, and she works with lots of fabrics and different types of materials. And she was super excited to work with me. And so we picked out this fabric. It's from Schumacher. And it just has just this kind of like beaded, woven design that I thought was perfect. I didn't want too small of a repeat pattern. And I wanted it to feel like a cocoon. So if you close these curtains, you're just surrounded. I needed to pick a fabric that I was never going to tire of, and this is it. And I basically covered as much as I could in this fabric, including these sconces that were from West Elm. They were just white originally. The chandelier is from Rejuvenation. Same with the table and the pillows. They worked with me a bit on the room, and I love, again, it just feels like jewelry for the home with the gold accents. The daybed was actually given to me. A friend was getting rid of it. It didn't work in her modern home, so I grabbed it and covered it with the fabric as well. These stools I had and then just recovered them. And I spend a lot of time in here. I like to read, talk to my friends on the phone, or hang out with them in person. I was very purposeful with not putting a desk in here. I didn't want it to feel like a home office. I never call it a home office. I usually just refer to it as my sanctuary. Again, kind of back to the high-low. I wanted an interesting bookcase, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. This is from Wayfair, and every piece in here is special to me. Obviously, family pictures. I've just always loved this sculpture of a woman just kind of like giving thanks to the world. Shells, definitely a theme. This, I walked into a store when I was pregnant with Otis, and I knew I was having a boy, and I don't know, I was just instantly drawn to it. And then I thought, wow, it really represents like me and Dustin and our baby boy. And I've just loved that piece. This is a picture of my grandmother, who I mentioned earlier. She was quite a woman, a fashionista, and she died about 10 years ago, and these are actually her ashes, some of them, and I looked really hard to find something that would be beautiful and kind of do this amazing woman justice, and I love this piece, and I love having her close. Again, crystals, shells. This is my mom. Yeah, and I love putting together little collections like this. And this bookcase, this room, this space just makes me really happy. So the word home to me means love. It means safety. It means happiness and food and gathering.
Yeah, all of those things, I think for me, it probably number one means stability. I moved around a ton when I was little, like 12 times before I was in 6th grade, moved around. And I think that you don't realize it until you're older, an adult, and it's like I want stability for not just us, but also for our kids. I think it's really important and nice to be able to have one place that you know feels like home and means that to you. So that's kind of what it means to me personally.
Yeah, and I think that we make our home very open and welcoming and inviting. We, had tweens when we moved in, and then they were teenagers, and like this was the house that all of their friends wanted to be at and hang out. And we always have, a stocked fridge and pantry and the pool, and we always really welcomed all of our kids' friends. Yeah. And now Otis, who is in 1st grade, this is also the house. Like his friends want to come and they search for bugs outside, and they go swimming and they jump on the trampoline, and it's just such a nice feeling to have this be the place that all of our kids and our friends and our family want to. Yeah,
everyone remembers. You always remember your friends' houses, or maybe you had that house, but like the house that you went to when you were young, and like we want to be that house, and it's nice to be that house.
All right, Homeworthy, it's been great having you at our home, but
we gotta go. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.